start, if that's in order. We're here for the Education, Environment, Sustainability Committee on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Could I have a roll call?
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Simon.
Here.
Ms. Stevens. Ms. Stevens is absent. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Shrine. Mr. Shrine is absent at the moment. Ms. Conwell.
President.
There is a quorum. Also like the record to reflect that Councilman Miller is in attendance.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment?
No, Madam Chair, no one is signed in.
We have minutes from April 3rd, 2024. Can I have a motion, please, to adopt those minutes?
Moved.
Second. Okay, second by President Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so minutes approved. And first item is 2024-0143. Can I have that read for the record?
Resolution number 2024-0143, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to the Cleveland Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program for the Empowering the Future program from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Do we have someone here to speak to that? Can you approach the podium, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Linda Kimball. I submitted a couple of slides. So my name is Linda Kimball. I'm the Executive Director for Cleveland MOTAP, which is the Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program. We submitted an application for our proposal, our application, which is called The Importance of Empowering the Future, the Importance of Youth Education and Minority Organ Donation and Transplantation Program. I have with me a local author and educator, Shantae Thomas, who wrote a book about organ donation and also kidney disease. And also with me is Cleveland MOTAP's program coordinator. The application that I actually submitted is really important for education about organ, eye, and tissue donation in the minority community, but also about health and wellness. Just gonna give you some facts about organ donation in the minority community. Minority individuals are disproportionately affected by organ failure. Our organization has been working on this issue for almost 30 years, and we are very passionate about what we do because we feel that we do a necessary activities in our community because there are so many people on the organ transplant waiting list. We are actually housed, me and Wilhelmina, we are actually housed at a dialysis center located on Stokes Boulevard, so we see dialysis patients all the time. But one of the things that we realize is that younger and younger people are going through dialysis and are in need of actual kidneys. When I first started as a executive director for this nonprofit, I was surprised to see 20-year-olds actually in need of kidneys. And one of the cool things is that I get to meet people like Shantae, who wrote a book about organ, eye, and tissue donation and transplantation for little kids. And we realized that there was a need for us to start educating younger people about this need. She came up to my table at an event and she said, we need to work together. She had already written the book, and so we started working together last year, going to different events. She wrote the book, and then we made a decision in July of last year to actually have her book distributed at one of our youth summits. It was a great success. She went away on vacation with her family members, but we had, for every young person who went to our event, we distributed a book to that young person, and she did a video for us reading that book to the young people, and they were very excited. This gave them an opportunity to learn more about organ donation and about kidney disease, et cetera, in a way that was not scary. Because organ donation can be scary not only to young people, but to older people too. We made a decision when we actually wrote the application that we wanted to be involved in the upcoming summer events for us to talk to family members about organ donation. So when they actually get the opportunity to make that decision to become an organ donor, they make a decision that is informed, not only for themselves, but when the younger people actually get that information when they get older, they make an informed decision. Because we realize that younger people, once they get the information about health and wellness, about eating well, and about being healthy, and also sign up to become an organ donor, they start getting that informed information when they get younger. The next slide kind of talks about the program details. And some of the program details is we worked, of course, with Shantae here. I worked with Wilhelmina, my program coordinator, and what makes sense for us to get that information out besides distributing her wonderful book, which is wonderfully illustrated with beautiful illustrations, but also wonderfully written about two cousins that's talking about a mother of one of the cousins who is in need of a kidney. We made a decision that we wanted to be at a lot of summer events where there's always a lot of families. There's a lot of upcoming events. There's Juneteenth coming up. There is a lot of different summer events in all of the different communities that we are associated with and everything. We also want to partner with a lot of different organizations in the city of Cleveland, including Clee Reads Literacy in the Hood, and local libraries and elementary schools, including the YMCA and everything. So the benefits is to engage young people in the community on the importance of organ donation. We know this works because we've been doing youth summits and teen summits since 2008. We also would inform young people on how to make informed health decisions. And one of the things that we know that's going to be helpful is to actually help young people become lifelong advocates for a cause, and that would be organ donation. So I want to see if Shantae has anything to add or Wilhelmina has anything to add. We just are grateful that we have this opportunity to talk to you about this cause. I get really excited. I'm truly a quiet person, but this is one of my passions, is to talk to people about health and wellness, about organ, eye, and tissue donation. And one reason is because I am housed at a dialysis center, and I see the people being dialyzed every day and in need of organs. So I'll let my counterparts talk if they like.
Hi, I'm Shantae Thomas again. I wanted to say thank you for allowing us to come and just speak. And just in regards to the book, I'm an educator. I'm a fifth grade teacher. This is my 29th year teaching in schools. It's a story I've shared with students. It's a story that I've gone out and shared. And then when people pick this book up, they all immediately say, oh my gosh, you make this not so scary. You make this topic that is not one that you want to just immediately grab, but once they read it, they understand how helpful it is, how it can help their family members. But we also understand, looking at the youth, we need them to also be advocates. Sometimes, from the mouth of babes, right, we can encourage, our family members to eat better, drink more water, and when the doctor is saying this is something that needs to happen, okay, look, we read about it. We saw this family work through this, and it's not so scary. And so this is a story, we've seen it, we've given it to, I've shared it with over 100 students in third grades through fifth grade, also through the Youth Summit, and it's been well received. And we know that we can create, through a story, ambassadors to really share the very important news. And in Cleveland and in Cuyahoga County, it is so important. We have to share. We need more donors. We need people not to be scared so that we can be more proactive with our health. So thank you.
I have a question. So this application for the amount not to exceed $10,000 is specifically for what?
It's specifically to purchase Shantae Thomas books, so we can actually distribute the books and just freely give the books to young people. One of the cool things when we actually had our youth summit last year was this was probably the first book that a young person actually got that was signed by an author, and that they actually had read to them while they were actually reading with the author and everything. So it was really cool. So that's part of what is actually going to be purchased. Also, we're going to be giving giveaways also. We all know, I'm not sure, well, we as people who like ourselves that do community outreach, that you have to give educational materials also. The parents are going to be there also. So they're going to be giving information about kidney disease, organ, eye, and tissue transplant information also. Also, we're going to be able to hire probably a college student who's also going to be able to go out to all of these community events and everything. Wilhelmina and I ourselves, we work full-time at Centers for Dialysis Care. we can't be at every single summer event. So this would be able to get like a really small little, a stipend hours for a actual college student to work some of these community events. And this is a win-win situation because they actually will be able to get some experience working at community events and helping us plan some events too. So it would be community outreach giveaways, the book, and also some time for a community educator also.
Any questions? Councilman Miller, and then.
Madam Chair, to the presenters, I'd like to thank you very much for doing this very important educational work. And my question is whether you have any information or thoughts on why you're seeing people need dialysis at such an earlier age than you've seen before.
So, if we were to do a survey with our patients at Centers for Dialysis Care at any of our facilities, you're going to find out it's because of out of control diabetes and high blood pressure. Across the board. And we all know that it's most prevalent in our minority communities and everything. So that's part of what we do at our Youth Summit. Not only do we talk about the importance of signing up, become an organ, eye, and tissue donor, but also about prevention. We talk about eating better and also about exercising, et cetera. So that's part of what our Youth Summit is. We have a Zumba instructor. We have a person who's talking about healthy eating with food demonstration. So that is part of it too. And that's always in the back of our mind is prevention, not only prevention and organ donation and transplantation, but also prevention. So we would hazard a guess, and research has shown that most people who are going through a dialysis is because of those out of control chronic diseases.
Councilwoman Conwell.
Yes, Councilman asked my one question, but I would just, and my other was title of the book, but I saw in your presentation, did you actually bring one to show us?
My car, I apologize.
You forgot?
Yes, I
Okay.
can bring them back.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So
Madam
here,
Chair,
President,
how many books will we be able to, what will be purchased with these dollars?
375 books. So they're at $15.
And again, they're going into elementary schools or?
So our goal is we want to be able to expand our outreach. And so there are some summer festivals that we plan to be present at. We also have intention to partner with different organizations like the Links. They have a health initiative about the kidney, and also with AKA. So we want to spread this out throughout the year. And we're looking at, maybe we're giving away 50 or 60. We have to see what that looks like. I mean, if people want the book and they're listening to our community advocates, then they're going to get the book for sure. So how far that goes.
And this is important work. I just know how it runs through our community. There's so many people we know with high blood pressure and diabetes, and everybody calls that sugar. And it runs rampant. So again, thank you for this work.
Thank you. The book is loosely inspired by a colleague friend who actually is a double transplant recipient. And her kidney actually was damaged through an antibiotic when she was in college. So there's so many things that happen to the body. And so this book allows us to open up the conversation and just to really educate and inform at all ages.
so the process is, this is your Matters Heard in Committee today, and then we'll probably be voting this out. And then it goes for 2 more readings through our main council meetings. So there'll be 2 more readings, and you won't have to come back unless you want to. So we appreciate your time. At this point, I want to see if anybody wants to
June
make.
4th is the
Chair.
date I had would be when.
Oh, June
if this-
4th would
If
be,
this is actually passed
Okay.
out today, June 4th would be the actual final reading.
okay.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, there's a proposed substitute for this one.
Oh, yeah, that was the one. Okay. And what's the nature of the substitute?
It's just correcting the name.
The name? Okay, so before we vote and adopt the resolution for passage, there is a proposed substitute changing the name. Is it in the packet? Because I don't.
Yeah,
I-
it's there.
Okay, so I'm
It's
gonna.
not in the packet.
It's not in the
separate.
packet. I don't have it.
It's in all this supporting documentation. I gave her.
I got it. All right, so, I have it. We have one change, and that's to change the name from Cleveland. So it's a transplant education program of Cleveland, Inc., instead of Cleveland Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program, correct? That one change. So I'll make a motion to adopt the substitute to change the name.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'm going to make a motion that the resolution as substituted get voted out of committee with a referral to the council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so this is passed as substituted with the right name. And we're talking June 4th? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. And then our staff member Trevor wanted to give you something. Next matter, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2024-0172, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to Case Western Reserve University for the National Youth Sports Program from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, my name is Dennis Harris. I'm the director of the National Youth Sports Program at Case Western Reserve University, and it's an honor to be here and present our proposal to you guys. I know you guys have had probably tons and tons of proposal, and it's so great to be under the Education and Sustainability Committee with you guys. PowerPoint up? Okay. Got it? Okay. This is our program. Before we do, real quick PowerPoint, just tell you a little bit about myself and my beautiful director, my assistant director. This is Monique Olawu.
Hi, everybody. I'm Monique Olawu. Pleasure to meet all of you, and thank you for your time and consideration.
Just give you a little bit about my background. You said education and sustainability. First of all, our program has been at Case Western Reserve. This makes 54 years. There was over 220 universities that had this program and 200 universities and colleges that had this program. We was in 46 states, plus in Puerto Rico, but the program was cut. We are the only program left in the country. We've been rewarded many, many times about our program. Just give you my background. I'm a resident of Cuyahoga County. I've been very, very fortunate. A former teacher. I've taught every grade from kindergarten to 12th grade. I taught at Case Western Reserve. I was in the phys ed department from freshmen to seniors. So I've taught every grade from kindergarten, to seniors. And you talk about sustainability. I'm so proud of my university to have this program and keep fighting for 54 years this summer. Just going through this, just looking at the history of it, of our program, is so important that we keep fighting to educate our children in Cuyahoga County. I know there's 3,143 counties in the United States. Cuyahoga County, we want this to be the best. It starts with education. And the thing about our program, we start bringing an 8-year-old to college. When I went away to college to Ohio State University, that was my first time walking on a college campus. Can you imagine an 8-year-old walking on a college campus, seeing professors, seeing facilities, eating in the cafeteria? We don't give them those box lunches. It costs $70,000 just to feed the kids this summer. So we are so proud of our university and proud of our longevity with this program. I've been very, very fortunate. I look at a lot of people that came through my program, our program, I should say, teachers, lawyers, homemakers. LeBron James was in this program down at Akron. The young man who's playing for the Cleveland Browns right now, Justin Hardy, was in our program. That's the sports side. But I'm more proud of the teachers who's going back to teach, the lawyers now. I'm so proud of seeing people who come in as a little 8-year-old. I'm telling my age, I'm 66. They come to me right now and say, Mr. Harris, thank God for you in NYSP because I learned I can compete with anybody else when I go to college. That's what we do. Ms. Monique?
Okay, so just to give you an overview, I think you said it's the green button. Oop, let me go back. How do you go back? Can I go back? Okay, thank you. Okay, so our program is a 5-week program. It starts June the 10th and it goes to July the 12th. And sports is just the carrot to get a lot of these young people in. So what they don't realize is we're drawing them in with, you know, the sports, but they're going to be educated. They're going to be taught leadership skills. They're going to be taught history, public speaking, a whole array of things. So just to name a few of the things that we do, we have 12 different sports, swimming, which is so important because so many African American children are not exposed to swimming, and swimming is mandatory in our program. They have to do it, and they do it at least 2 days out of the week. Sometimes they do it 3. We rotate. And so many of our children that have gone through the program learn how to swim. Basketball, dance, volleyball, softball, track and field, football, weight training, personal fitness. We do a ton of walking. We walk across the whole campus. The kids often complain about how they have to walk in the beginning. And then by the end of camp, they are in so much better shape. We walk with them. So the staff, we get in shape as well. And then we're going to add pickleball this year. That'll be our newest sport. And then also on the educational end, we have math, reading, writing, science, civics, history, public speaking. With the cell phones being so prevalent with our youth, we find that many of them, if they come in late and we ask them their name, they're looking down, they're not looking at us, barely speaking above a whisper. They don't really have those public speaking skills and that ability to engage and look somebody in the eye and talk to them. So we work on that. We do music education, leadership skills, and art. And we have a talent show at the end, our very last day of camp, and we feature the staff, NYSP staff. We also have the children. We have faculty and staff from Case Western Reserve University, and we have parents. So we try to include everyone.
We work at one of the top education institution in the country, in the world, Case Western Reserve University. And one of the things that we do, we reach in and get our professor friends to get involved. Can you imagine an 8-year-old learning chemistry? That's what we do. Or I reach out, I had a friend that worked from Australia. I brought a friend from Australia. I brought the Michael Jordan of Australia here. I brought the #1 Aboriginal doctor from Australia. And I brought the highest ranking Aboriginal police officer from Australia. He came and spent a week with us. That's what we do. We expose kids. We've taken kids on field trips. We've been to the Marx Museum. We go everywhere and let the people know it's a great place to live in Cuyahoga County. That's what we do. We're teaching civics. Our kids don't know, our parents don't vote and all that. We teach them that. It's so important. Understanding our government. We do those things. Being at Case Western Reserve University, we're surrounded by 8 museums. Being able to take kids from low-income areas to these different museums, learning about people because we all are the same all over this world. That's what we do at Case Western Reserve National Youth Sports Program. Medical screenings. Oh, I forgot about one of the big things that we do, medical screening. We are so fortunate. We get the top doctors, med students, they do medical screening. And we've been fortunate to find things that, and through the medical screening from asthma, this, that's what we do in our program. Oh, okay, no problem, no problem. I sit here and talk about it all day. I love the job that I do. Like I said, when I went away to college, didn't know anything about college. When I was 1976, my dad dropped me off at The Ohio State University. I'm like, wow, I'm here. I was fortunate because I was able to play football for Ohio State, and the thing, I was kind of as a reward for playing football. So when I came back from Ohio State University, I said, wow, I got a job at Case Western Reserve University. I get the football angle, but look at this great educational institution. So I used my friends at the university. This summer will make 42 years I've been at the university. 42 years. So I use my friends from the athletic side, from the sports side, but I use my friends from the educational side, from professors in chemistry, nutrition, history, political science, law. I bring them all and teach our kids, you can be what you see. And we bring them on our campus every year, you can see. That's what we do.
More time?
Monique, what?
Do we still have more time? Or?
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say, on a personal note, I was introduced to National Youth Sports Program because I enrolled my son when he was in the 5th grade. He remained in this camp for 8 years. He missed
COVID.
1 year, which was the COVID year. I mean, I shouldn't say missed it. He wasn't physically on campus, so it was a different experience. And that was his last year. And that was in 2020. So that was his last year because he aged out. In summer of 2021, you would have thought that my son lost his best friend because he couldn't go to camp. He tried his hardest to volunteer. He said he'll just come up to the camp, he'll just help coach do whatever needs to be done, but that couldn't take place because, numbers, everything had to be smaller because of COVID. So the camp was much smaller that year. So fast forward to 2022, summer of 2022, he came aboard as a camp counselor. And I mean, that's his dedication to the program. That's my personal testimony of my faith in this program, that I would put my child in it for so many years. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
And I need to point out this young man that's sitting here. He's an intern right there. The young man sitting here, he's an intern. He's from Shaker Heights High School. I can put his GPA out. I'm so proud of him. He has a 3.97 from Shaker Heights High School. And one thing that we teach out our program is so important is what's on the back of that young man. Stand up and turn around, young man. Focus on respect. That's the number one thing that we teach in our program. If the kids don't learn anything, they're gonna learn how to respect. And respect goes both ways. Me giving the student respect, they're giving, that's what we preach. Thank you. Questions?
Sorry, I disrespected you. I had to walk away, so don't let me be an example.
Focus on respect.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I would just like to speak on behalf of the program because I believe all three of my children, they're all grown now in their 30s, but they all went to the summer camp for many summers.
Many summers.
And you didn't teach my one child how to swim because she hates getting in the water. I don't know how she got past that, but she did not learn how to swim. But so I vouch for it just from being a mom that has used the program many, many years ago. I took a tour of the campus, seeing where they eat, and yeah, they're just immersed into college life, and so it helps the students begin to dream. And they look so tiny on that big campus. It's really cute to see them walking across campus and learning and enjoying the fields, the track, everything that is in my community. So proud mom of NYSP program students. And I also, back then, it wasn't the new form of government, but I'm in the arena that I can match her dollar amount. So I will match her dollar amount.
Thank you.
And Sonny can explain to you how that will happen.
Wow. Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. So there's a match, so it looks like your application award will increase if passed by this body to $20,000 from the councilwoman.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so the process for that is, well, you've got an alum, Mom. All right, so what happens next is this will be amended, right, Trevor, at the next meeting. We'll amend this to increase the amount. Today, I'll ask my colleague to make a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion to move this to the full council under second reading.
I will second. I did have one question,
Yes.
but now we may need more time. I was going to ask how many children are you able to serve with the 10,000?
Well, what we plan on doing
You have
now.
more, so you might have.
One of the things we plan on doing right now is some of our, even though the cost is $85 for Cleveland and $175 for non-residents of Cleveland, it gives us a chance to go out. Now, you gave me homework to go out and some kids can come free. You give them scholarships. We're gonna give them scholarships. So I gotta get back. I'm gonna float down the steps and figure out how we can get children to come free. And I love for you guys to help me. You know, children that's in need, get a list. We will for Collier County, we'll bring them into the program.
We don't need that pressure, but.
No.
Thank
But
you.
that's what we'll do. We'll hit the schools starting tomorrow, and let them know we have to get some children in there for free because some of the parents cannot afford it. $85 or a 5-week program.
And there's always that one or two parents finding out about it, don't have the funds, and
We've done
they
that for
don't.
years.
And we shouldn't leave any child behind.
I've came out of my
so.
pockets for years paying, and she knows that. That's what I do. That's what, right. So, and this young lady has done it also because, like I said, seeing a little kid on campus, 8-year-old, it makes me want to cry.
And I think back then, and it just shows us as a community how inflation and things have changed, because I believe when you first started years ago, I was about 20, probably 20-some years
was
ago,
free.
my kids were free.
It was free.
So
That's fact.
It's very good that I can
Well, that's
give
why I'm so
back.
proud of this county. That's what I'm saying. I'm so proud. 3,143 counties, you guys stepped up when everybody else didn't. That's why I'm so proud of my university. You guys stepped up because they dropped the money. I'm knocking on doors, trying to write Peter to pay Paul to make this work.
Okay, thank you so much for presentation, for the councilwoman. Question from the president is answered. Do you have any other questions, President?
You know, I was just trying to remember back when I graduated high school. I stayed on the campus of Case Western Reserve right out of high school, and they were preparing me for college. They gave us some classes that I ended up taking when I was in, once I got to college, and but I didn't remember the name of it.
Was it Upward Bound?
I don't remember the name. I was a kid. But all I remember, I was there on the Case Western Reserve campus.
How long ago?
And this is going back to 1980.
Oh, you young.
86, the summer of 86. Was that before this?
Does the ESP ring a bell?
I would
no,
not be able to
no,
tell
you
you
don't
the
know.
name
Okay,
of what I was a part of, but it will.
But you had a chance to be on a college campus.
Right,
And that
and it
makes a
was
big
Case Western Reserve.
Right, thank you.
Great.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you, guys.
Okay, thank
We got
you.
work to do. We got to go out and recruit kids now. And I'm gonna
good.
do, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, well, let's pass this first before you
Oh, I'm sorry.
recruit.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we've got a first and a second.
First and a second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so this passed, so you can, it still has to go through, you heard, second and third reading. So on June 4th, the council most likely will approve this award with the additional 10. So be tuned for June 3rd.
Thank you. June
4th.
June
4th.
4th. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for your work.
Thank you,
Madam
everyone.
Chair,
Thank
if you would
you.
add my name?
Sure. Okay, next item.
Resolution number 2024-0173, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to the Literacy Cooperative for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Hey, who's here? Okay, hello.
Good afternoon. I'm Bob Papanetti, President and CEO of the Literacy Cooperative. Certainly want to thank Councilwoman Turner, this committee, and the council as a whole for your continued support of the Literacy Cooperative and the Dolly Parton Imagination Library Program. A child enrolled in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library Program receives a brand-new age-appropriate book in the mail every month until their 5th birthday at no cost to the family. Currently, we have more than 39,000 children enrolled, which represents about 58% of the eligible children in Cuyahoga County. Eligibility for the program is simply the age of the child. All children under the age of 5 are eligible. This program is having a profound impact on children and families across the county. The Center for Community Solution conducts an annual survey of Imagination Library parents to give us some insights into the value of the program. Of all the questions we ask in the survey, the one I look to first is the question, do you read to your child more often since you began receiving the books? I'm happy to report that 78% of all respondents, and we have Imagination Library families in every zip code in the county, 78% of the respondents report they are reading more with their child since they began receiving the books. Of those families who identified as having family income of less than $25,000, 91% of them responded that they are reading more to their child since they began receiving the books. There are so many benefits to reading with a child. I've asked Dr. David Margolius, Director of Public Health for the City of Cleveland, to share some of the research and science around the benefits to reading to a child in the early years of their life. Dr. Margolius.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, council members. This is my first time in this chambers, and it's really nice here. You've got a great situation going, yeah. So I appreciate being here, appreciate the invitation. So the health benefits of early childhood reading. Our brains grow faster between the ages of 0 and 3 than any other time in our life. In a large study, researchers found that infants and toddlers that were read out loud to in their first 2 years of life for at least just 11 minutes per day were more likely to do well in school at grades 3 and 5. Specifically, they had better reading, spelling, and grammar skills on those assessments at those grades, more than their peers who weren't reading. So why is that? Shared reading between a parent and their child works to improve brain development in a number of ways. Number one, parent-child interaction during parent reading establishes a joint focus of attention between child and adult. Number two, the child's attention to book illustrations with the accompanying spoken language from the parent enhances the child's learned vocabulary. And number three, during shared reading, parents use longer sentences and are more responsive to the child's questions, introducing more abstract concepts during book sharing than they would otherwise be during normal conversations. And as a parent of young children, you might be able to relate to that, where you're talking to your child and you might say, yeah, why, all those things. But when you're book reading, you do longer sentences, you get into more of these abstract concepts. So even before the child is able to read, that book sharing helps brain development. And yet, fewer than half of 0 to 2-year-olds are read to every day or nearly every day. Only 58% of 3 and 4-year-olds are read to daily or nearly daily. And then that number drops to 44% of 5 through 7-year-olds who are read to daily or nearly every day for at least 15 minutes. And the assumption is that as children get into preschool and then kindergarten, parents assume that they're getting all the reading they need in school. And so they do less of the adult child reading at home. Meanwhile, screen time for children has become a real challenge for us, where of children under the age of 8, 42 to 88% are spending an hour or more on the screen, either a tablet or in front of a television. So Imagination Library is a proven intervention to help parents, children, and our whole community to care for our residents who are in this 0 to 3 age group. An investment in the toddler's brain development now leads to better school performance later, leading to better health and wealth in our region. So thank you for your consideration today.
Thank you. Any questions?
I just
Okay.
have one last follow-up, if I could. I'm happy to report that we're seeing a steady increase in our newborn enrollment number. It's through a lot of work with the birthing hospitals in Cuyahoga County. I feel pretty confident that at least the information is in the go-home pack after a child is born, but some of the hospitals are working to actually present the enrollment form and are sending us completed enrollment forms so that we're able to take advantage of this time in a child's life that we're getting them enrolled in Imagination Library.
Great, thank you. Any questions of anybody? You've been here before, so
yeah.
we know.
Yeah.
Dale Miller. Okay. Just a quick question. Are these Metro Health involved with disseminating the packets?
Yes, they
Okay,
are.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve this?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Good to
Thank you
see
all. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you. Okay, next item.
Resolution number 2024-0178, making an award to College Now Greater Cleveland in the amount of $1 million from the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Fund for Component 2 of the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Program.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairwoman, Trevor Meckler, County Council staff. We have folks from the College Now Greater Cleveland that's going to present this award. But Council, you have seen this award on an annual basis in the total amount of $500,000. What Council staff is proposing today, that we do a 2-year contract for $1 million, so we don't have to keep coming back. This is part of what's in the county code, that we do this on an annual basis. So what you see here is Council budgeted $1 million over the biannual budget. So we're proposing just a 2-year contract. So it's a little different than what you have seen in the last, I think this was the 11th year we might have been, we've been doing this. So it's a little different than what you've seen in the past.
So we're just following the budget?
Yes,
basically?
correct.
Instead of coming back. And this will be the same for the other workforce part of this component?
Yes, we're working out some technical difficulties only because they're switching
To nonprofit.
to nonprofit.
To nonprofit.
We think we're able to provide this year's funding through the normal budget process. Next year, we're working with OBM and Law just to figure
Okay.
out that.
Thank you for that. Okay, so, but that doesn't mean we're not going to, I mean, the benefit to coming, we'll award it, but expect to come back to get updates and stats.
Great. Hi, I'm Kitty Warshawski from College Now Greater Cleveland, and obviously this is Bob Durham. We're thrilled to be here, and in fact, Councilwoman Simon, that was going to be my first comment, is we will still come as often as you like. We so appreciate the opportunity to be here. As you know, this is an unbelievably impactful program. In your report, and as Trevor just mentioned, we have finished, this report reflects the first 11 years of the program, and we have data for the first 10 years through the last school year. And as of the last school year, 774 county residents who graduated from county high schools have been awarded these scholarships. We are thrilled to tell you that 77% of them have graduated or are currently enrolled. Again, this is as of last year, so these numbers have only increased or will only increase as soon as this school year ends in a few weeks. So we're beyond grateful for this, and we thought that Bob could give you a little context of some of the challenges that we're facing this year, not with your program, but sort of just to put into perspective why the scholarships remain so vital.
Yeah, thank you for having us again, and like she said, we're happy to come talk whenever you'd like us to, especially it's good news, so that's easy. I think you're looking at the last cohort, 92% are still enrolled. The one before that, 93%, 92%, 87%. These are just crazy good numbers, especially when the national average is right around 50%. And if you're looking for low-income students, more like 40%. So we're really excited. All these students do qualify for the federal Pell Grant, so that means they do have high financial need in the family. I think some things, we did make a slight change this year to the program. We've been giving $1,750 a year for the last 6 years. Costs of college continue to rise, so we did ask if we could increase the individual student award amount to $8,000, broken out over $2,000 over 4 years. There is a slight, we updated it on one report, but on page 4, it still says $7,000, so I don't know. Would
Yeah,
like that.
so we would like the record to reflect that there's a typo on page 4, and the request is to, for the renewable scholarships to total up to $8,000 a year, $8,000 in total, excuse me, up to $2,000 per year, $8,000 total for a student. But please note that doesn't change the request amount to council, because many years ago, council approved the ability to use any carryover funds in the following years. And you can see all of that math is also set forth on the last page, which is page 16.
This has been I'm sure you guys have been following the FAFSA struggles that have been going on in this country. This is, I mean, people like to use words and like exaggerate, but this is it's a disaster. I mean, our kids, many still do not know how much money they're going to have for school next year, and they're having to make decisions on what colleges they're going to go to. Without knowing exactly what they have. And many of them are going to have to make last-minute changes because they're going to get the numbers and it's just not going to work for them. So these types of scholarships help students. You know, we have not notified them of receiving it, but, you know, hopefully this gets approved and goes through. You know, we'll be able to tell them they're going to get $2,000 and they can know they have that for 4 years, which is hugely important to know they can count on as long as they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Bob, can you explain to me, since I haven't had to apply for college loans in a while, what's the problem with them finding it out? Is it bureaucracy, red tape?
So what happened this year is the Department of Ed was required to roll out the easier FAFSA for all the students. Easier. It's supposed to, and it is easier to do, but they weren't ready to roll it out by October 1st, which is the normal deadline. Then they were required by law to have it ready to go by the end of the year, so December 31st. So it went out and it didn't work. I mean, students were filling it out, they weren't getting the results. Calculations were wrong. Certain students, like say a student that is a citizen, but their parents might not be a citizen, they couldn't get their information even though they're eligible for financial aid. There was just disasters every which way. Then they started fixing the problems. Then they found out months later that they messed the calculation up and didn't take into consideration inflation, which we all know inflation has been. So many students that weren't eligible for aid that should have been eligible for aid. So then they started redoing the calculations. Once they figured this all out, they started sending information out to the schools in March and April about what the results are with the FAFSA. Students normally receive their information from the schools in March and April. Now the schools are just receiving it, so they weren't giving out award letters till April and May, and some still haven't. I mean, I'm personally, my nephew is still waiting for his award letter from the school to know what he's going to do for college. So, you know, it's just been really put everything in a bad situation. Other areas where this is affecting students, it's schools. Schools can't keep pushing back the enrollment deadlines because they have to plan for the fall semester. They have to do orientations. They have to do schedules. It's really just caused havoc. So I feel like this year, we've already seen our applications go down because students don't know if they're Pell eligible or not. So we just did away with our deadline. You know, we're like, when you get your FAFSA information, submit it, and we're like periodically awarding out over the course of the summer, trying to make sure that we have funding for students.
So the Pell eligibility would come with that letter from the Department of Ed?
Yep.
And then they'll come to you and say, okay, we're proof, you need documentation?
Right.
From that source?
And then we
Okay.
also have had some students that originally were Pell eligible, but then they fixed the calculation and they weren't Pell eligible, but they're very close to Pell eligible. So we were like, all right, we're not taking it away from you after we told you you could have it, because this has just been a really hard, it's been very stressful on the students and families. We get many calls from parents. They just don't know what to do. So that's just for you guys. And so we're working really hard to help students understand what's going on and helping to calm families and saying it will get resolved. Just stick with it. Unfortunately, we're like with everything, this affects students from needy backgrounds much more than everybody else because they need the money to decide where they're going. And we're very concerned that maybe I was going to go, maybe I wasn't going to go. But now that I know I don't know what money I'm getting, I'm just going to go get a job and then go from there. So we are planning on continuing outreach to students throughout the summer and fall. And hopefully students that would have gone into fall that maybe chose not to, we can get them enrolled in the spring. So these are the challenges we're dealing with this year. The good thing is, though, is we're doing a great job, and not just us, but in the city of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. The numbers for our students in FAFSA completion has not dropped. So students are still doing the FAFSA. All over the country, FAFSA numbers have dropped an amazing amount, but we've been able to at least get students to complete the FAFSA. They're just waiting on the results now.
Okay.
So rest assured, we will be able to award all of these scholarships. We just thought it was important for you to understand the context and to know why this scholarship is so important. Separately, we were also encouraged to ask for a suspension of the second reading as well.
Okay, because of the time, everything was
Because of the
behind
time
eight
frame,
ball. That's
yes.
fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that if the committee doesn't. Okay, so we're going to move this forward. I'm going to make a motion that we move this out of committee into the next full council for second reading. All in favor? Aye. Okay, under suspension, Madam Clerk. Okay. All right. That's it, right? But you're
That's
coming
it from
back
us,
up, I
yes.
guess? All right, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. 2024-0195, is that the one that's going to be withdrawn,
Yes.
Madam Clerk? Is someone going to speak to that briefly, Allison, or?
Yes, thank you. I believe you all know me. I'm Allison Ball, Planning Initiative Specialist with Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, and I do want to thank you for your consideration of these resolutions of support for the Clean Ohio grant applications. So the Resolution 2024-0195 was they are encouraged to start the motion of getting these resolutions. And this is a program that's being done in conjunction with Western Reserve Land Conservancy and Cleveland Metro Parks. And Cleveland Metro Parks is taking the lead since this was put into motion. And the Park District is responsible for consulting with legislative authority of each subdivision in which the proposed project is located and is required to submit a letter of support. And this is all in accordance with Ohio Revised Code sections 164.23B and 164.23C. So they're a different, under a different kind of rule. And so they are working directly with the city of Cleveland. So this project is still going forward. They just don't need your resolution of support or Cuyahoga County Council resolution of support.
Because it's Cleveland?
Because it's Cleveland Metro Parks. Because it's a park district.
It's a
So-
subdivision. I mean, right, it's a
Yes,
district,
Yes.
not
It's
subdivision.
It's a separate kind of entity.
a
so,
statutory
Yeah.
district. Okay. Okay, so that's withdrawn. I guess stay there, right, Allison, for the next one?
Yep.
Are you good? Any questions about that? I don't think so. Okay.
Resolution number 2024-0196, supporting an application for funding under the Clean Ohio Fund Green Space Conservation Program available through the Ohio Public Works Commission on behalf of West Creek Conservancy for the conservation of ecologically significant areas in the Watershed Divide Conservation Initiative in the cities of Broadview Heights and Brecksville.
Good afternoon, council members. I'm Derek Schaefer. I'm here every year as well. This is a continuation of last year's project that we were awarded. It was 75 acres we purchased that literally straddles Brecksville and Broadview Heights. Excuse me. And it also straddles East Baldwin Creek watershed, which is Rocky River, and Furnace Run, which goes over to the Cuyahoga. So it's appropriately named Watershed Divide. So this year's Clean Ohio application is literally bookended by two acquisitions we did last year. And so this is a 20-acre parcel right in the middle, and it's just simply a forested wetland complex with actually 3 or 4 identified federally and state endangered bats. It's just a precipice, wet, forested parcel that we'll be applying again to Clean Ohio Green Space.
What's the purchase price?
Right now,
Yeah.
it's 200, but it could probably be 250. So it's a cheaper parcel. It's not landlocked, but it's very difficult to get to.
Okay. So there's only one on here. That's unusual for us. We usually have an assortment of applications for this fund. Why is that?
Well, Allison alluded to the other project that is being led by Cleveland Metro
Well,
Parks.
that one, I know, but we usually have 5 or 6, right?
That one's going to be
Just-
relatively large, we'll say.
Okay.
And I think there's a little over 5 million available in the fund this year, so that project, I don't
So
know its
people
value.
are-
That's a big one. Ours is a very small one comparatively this year. So it's hopefully conservation camaraderie.
I got it. Understood. All right. Thank you. I hope you can get this one. Are
I
you,
hope so too. It's nice just to tidy it up because that ends up being around a 100-acre block of preserved land right in that section.
so last year you got the other parcels?
Yep.
So they know about it, and is it the
Absolutely.
same oversight body that recommends in this?
It's all the District 1, Clean Ohio,
Same.
NRAC, Natural Resource
The-
Assistance Council.
Hopefully the
so-
same people and there's
Yeah.
consistency? Okay. Any other questions? Nope. All right, so is there a suspension to this?
Because it's due June 14th.
Oh. Okay. Well, 3 readings will get us June 5th or 4th? 4th? That will be okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm all right with
Okay,
that.
so I'll make a motion that this resolution be passed out of committee to the next full council meeting for second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Derek, I have one question. So the ARPA money that I was able to get to West Creek for the purchase of that school property, how did that? what
It's
is-
going, it's moving
It's
forward.
going?
Yeah, the lot split has taken a lot longer than we.
Okay.
So it's in process, so we'll be done before the end of the year.
Good.
Probably
You'll
probably third quarter will be.
Will you remember to
Absolutely.
circle back so I can
100%.
see what this is going to be like?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right. Thank you. All right. Good. Have a good one. I guess that's it. I don't think Dale has questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Bye. All right. Lastly, back up here, we're going to have Bob and Kitty from College Now for a presentation.
We're delighted to present. We're actually not quite sure what you have in mind beyond the report, which we could walk through in detail.
I don't know why this is on the agenda, so I thought it was you. So we already heard the report.
Yes.
We have our statistics.
Yes.
We know that for 2 years you'll be
Yes.
funded consistent with the budget and our mandate. Notre Dame is probably not going to be on the radar, which it doesn't look to me, there was a lot of graduates out of there, which was surprising.
Well, don't forget, this is a year over year.
I'm
You know-
looking at each year.
Okay, you're right. And I think currently, right now, we had a very small number, just so you know, a very small number overall of College Now scholarship recipients who are at Notre Dame, and we've been working to make sure, if they aren't graduating seniors, that their scholarships will stay intact if they transfer.
So that's interesting. So they had the choice to go to Notre Dame, right?
Well, no, I mean, when they enrolled in the
Right.
fall. Yeah, yeah.
So there's not a large amount of applicants for, am I wrong, to begin with?
Right, no.
Right, to begin with.
Right.
Which
Right, it was just a handful.
partially will explain
Exactly.
what the situation is now.
Bob's not going to go on the record on that, but yes.
Yeah, I don't want to assume why, but yeah, there weren't a lot of students that chose to go to Notre Dame
Right. I don't
and
know.
apply for our scholarship.
They apply for the scholarship, but they're not applying to go there. There's applicants for that, there's not a lot of applicants for that college, which we can talk at some point about why, but, not now? Okay.
But we are working with any of those students, not just in this group, but any
Right.
students we've worked with at our Notre Dame to make sure they end up somewhere they can be successful.
You know there's a lawsuit suing Notre Dame.
No, I
Oh,
do not.
Okay, well, we'll talk off
Okay.
record. You know, for me, it's just a larger phenomena of a social cultural shift that some colleges aren't going to survive.
Right, and there are a lot of reasons for that. You know, there's the upcoming demographic cliff. A lot of schools rely very heavily only on tuition. There are also an enormous number of schools, particularly in Ohio. Yeah.
And flexibility. I mean, students aren't going the typical pathways they used to go. There are not enough high school seniors graduating to fill all the spots for all the schools we have. So they really need to be flexible, helping those adults that are going back. I think you'll see a lot of success of those schools that are really serving their populations specifically.
Okay, wow. So less high school graduates? Is that because the population is
Population drops, yeah,
reduced?
yes.
We're less population in Cuyahoga?
It's actually a national trend as
National.
well, here too, but nationally as well.
Okay, so the population is going down?
Right, there's a.
In general, a
Yes,
decline in
there's
the
a-
country?
What, about 7%, Cliff, I thought we saw today? About 7%. The peak of the decline is coming, I think, next year with the class of 25.
Of our population and the kids, right? This
Of
is-
18.
We're having less kids. Is that what this is, in part?
In part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which we know, but now we're seeing it.
Exactly.
All works together.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Thanks for your mini presentation.
Well, even with the decline of people having children, then maybe we have to be creative and help the students that are here that don't have parents get to school.
Yes, and we also do, which we don't really talk to council about, well, we do talk to them about, and what talk to you about in other contexts, but at College Now, we do a lot of work with adult learners for all the reasons we've just been discussing as well.
Thank you. Have a good, and immigrants, be nice to
Immigrants, yes.
support that.
DACA, you name it.
DACA.
Yeah.
Or even refugee support, you know, I think there's a lot of things out there, like refugees in particular don't know that they're eligible for federal aid, you know, because they're not citizens, but they're one of the few non-citizens that can get aid to go to college, but that's not common knowledge. So we are partnering closer with the Refugee Response and some other refugee organizations to try to help them. We have a couple scholarships specific to refugees, and it's another area that we're.
Is that a private foundation funding?
It's
Yes.
person.
Person,
Individual
nice.
person. I mean, it's small. It's only a handful of scholarships.
Is it being filled up or not even yet?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. They're only giving out one a year, so.
Okay.
Yeah, but, or 3 a year, but 3 different types of
But,
refugees.
but the applications are really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not one per, I mean, there are multiple people applying.
Wait, who's eligible for this?
Well, there's a high school senior refugee scholarship, which is for graduating high school seniors. There is an adult scholarship for students that wanting to go to trade school or a 2-year school for associate degree. And then there's one for a refugee that wants to go into social work at a 4-year institution.
So refugees are eligible.
For these 3 scholarships.
These
yes.
scholarships.
These are specific. And refugees are actually eligible for this scholarship.
That's what I'm-
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. If they apply, yeah.
You said it was one benefit that is available.
Yeah, to
and it's
refugees.
To refugees.
Refugees.
And that's determined by the State Department?
That's the Federal Department of Education.
Education determines if they're a refugee?
Well,
State.
I don't know how the whole process
but all right,
of
doesn't
how you
matter.
get
I'm not
refugee
keeping the
status,
committee's
but their
time.
type of
Right.
citizenship
Got it.
status
Yeah, it's a
makes them
citizen of the State
eligible for,
Department.
yeah,
Okay.
makes them eligible for FAFSA.
And then it goes over to the Department of Ed in
Yes.
Donahue. Okay, great, thank you. I think we're done. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, thank you.